so much as a warning. Life hangs in the balance. Human endeavor turns to chaos. And within seconds, nothing will ever be the same. Ever.
In the blink of an eye, destruction can turn your world upside down. A high-speed crash triggers a chain reaction that sends bodies and motorcycles flying. Tanks holding 15,000 gallons of crude oil and water explode after being struck by lightning. You can run, but you can't hide when things get destroyed in seconds.
May 14th, 2009. Rain and hail pound La Mesa, Texas. Lightning strikes a saltwater disposal plant, setting 2 storage tanks on fire. These fiberglass containers hold a highly combustible mix of crude oil and water. If the tanks get too hot and pressure builds, they can explode like bombs. Firefighters mount a 2-pronged attack. They spray water on the tank exteriors to keep them cool, and they apply fire-retardant foam directly on the flames, hoping to extinguish them. Both efforts fail. The pipes that run between the tanks are not equipped with shutoff valves. This allows burning oil to travel from the flaming tank to a second tank, igniting it on fire. A pressure valve blows off, allowing an intense burst of flame to escape. A firefighter drops his hose and runs. Then, the 25-foot-tall tank explodes. It rockets into the sky and lands 75 yards away. Moments later, a second tank explodes. Its lid flies into the air and rolls another 60 yards. This is how the tanks are supposed to react, with their lids blowing off under high pressure. The fire rages for another 9 hours before it burns itself out. Only one firefighter is injured, thanks to the fence surrounding the tanks. It acts as a net, stopping pieces of flying metal from hitting the fire crews. Damages are estimated at $750,000, not including cleanup costs. June 12, 1999. The 43rd Paris Air Show attracts aerospace fans from over 40 countries. 300,000 spectators watch a demonstration of Russia's most advanced fighter jet, the Sukhoi Su-30. With a maximum speed of 1,320 miles per hour, the strike fighter is designed for both air and ground attack missions. The Russian pilot performs a descending spiral known as a flat corkscrew. Traveling at a 60-degree angle to the Earth, he completes 3 barrel rolls. But something goes wrong when he tries to pull out. Normally, this trick calls for pulling out of the dive after 2 rotations. But the pilot decides to add a 3rd rotation, leaving insufficient room to pull up the plane. The Sukhoi's tail nozzle scrapes the ground, rupturing the fuel lines and causing the engines to instantly catch fire. At a height of 200 feet, The pilot and co-pilot eject.
The $34 million Sukhoi Su-30 crashes to the ground.
The pilot and co-pilot both land safely. Neither is injured. Russia's state-owned arms trading company blames the disaster on pilot error, citing his recklessness for attempting a third rotation. The jet is a total loss.
And they're off and we're away.
The Superbike World Championship Series is underway in Assen, the Netherlands. A superbike is a street motorcycle that has been modified into a high-performance racing bike. They can reach speeds over 180 miles per hour on the asphalt track. At these speeds, one minor mishap can unleash mayhem.
Two bikes down. Got another one down as well. Bikes going up everywhere. Oh, this is mayhem. So red flag. They've red flagged this race. That is absolutely extraordinary. Bikes flying all over the place, just missing people.
The engine on the number 91 bike catches fire. Rider Christian Kellner goes down.
Number 91, Kellner's engine exploded, leaving oil all over the circuit going into the chicane. Unfortunately, lots of other riders hit this. Bikes everywhere, flames and oil. The race stopped.
As Kellner slams into the foam barrier, a flying motorcycle grazes his head.
Oil from the wrecked bike pours onto the track, setting off a devastating chain reaction.
A total of 6 riders go down in the massive pileup. The race is immediately stopped as other drivers try to avoid the wreckage.
Oh, dear me, that was horrendous.
That was massive.
By the time it's over, Kellner has a dislocated shoulder, and another rider has a broken collarbone.
Amazingly, the other 4 riders all escape injury in one of the most violent crashes in the race's 10-year history.
Bikes going up everywhere. Oh, this is mayhem.
It's the Formula One World Championship on Merrimack River in St. Louis, Missouri.
And down towards us into the island turn, 130 miles an hour.
Among the competitors is Italian racing sensation Guido Capellini.
Capellini, who normally runs right up the front, is trying desperately to make up for some lost ground.
He's in 8th place, and for him, that's an uncomfortable spot.
That's Jim McKay, and behind him, that's Capellini emerging from the spray.
Capellini is trailing behind Jim McKay, who is racing in the World Championship for the first time.
And that is an enormous accident that Jim McKay and Capellini.
Approaching the turn, Capellini sees an opportunity to move up. Traveling at 120 miles an hour, he goes to pass McKay on the inside of the turning marker. But he's going too fast to make the turn. Both fragments litter the water, but the 2 racers are nowhere to be seen.
There has been a gigantic collision.
On the left of your picture there, Capellini is out. He's out. But Jim McKay is upside down on the island there, and no sign of him at the moment.
McKay is trapped inside his boat.
They're going to have a great deal of difficulty getting to him. The rescue crew desperately fighting to get this boat over.
He's underwater for nearly a minute before he's rescued. Thankfully, McKay is uninjured, as is Cappellini.
This is the third boat this year that Guido Cappellini has wrecked, and he'll be a very, very disappointed man here.
McKay is protected by the F-1's enclosed safety pod. Without it, the sharp point of Cappellini's sponson could have delivered a fatal blow. After surviving a potentially deadly collision,
And that is an enormous accident.
and a near drowning, McKay's first championship race becomes his last.
Jim McKay, a very, very lucky driver indeed.
Phoenix, Arizona. A fire breaks out at this two-story motel. When fire crews arrive, half of the building is already engulfed in flames. Firefighters take up offensive positions and spray water into the heart of the blaze, unaware that critical support structures have been compromised. As the firefighters attempt to enter the room, the roof crashes down, knocking the men to the ground and burying them under flaming debris. No one is close enough to come to their immediate aid. The firefighter on the right manages to get up. He struggles to push a burning section of the roof off his partner. Moments later, a second yellow helmet emerges. Both men are immediately rushed to the hospital. It takes firefighters an hour using fire-retardant foam to bring the fire under control. Damages reach $1.3 million. Fortunately, all employees and guests escape unharmed. Thanks to their safety equipment and training, the two injured firefighters suffer only minor injuries. Both are released from the hospital that evening. A violent windstorm rips through Monterrey, Mexico. Gusts up to 75 miles per hour ravage this city of just over 1 million people, smashing out windows and forcing people to flee flying glass. Desperate homeowners scramble to keep their houses intact. The incessant winds fan the flames of countless fires, pushing rescue crews to the limit. A previously contained forest fire reignites and doubles in size. Debris blocks roads as drivers struggle with the powerful winds. A massive freeway sign dangles precariously until the bus can't avoid the 6-ton metal sign. 15 passengers are on board. Paramedics arrive at the scene. 6 passengers suffer injuries, none life-threatening. The windstorm lasts for more than 7 hours and leaves 2 people dead. 122 vehicles are damaged, and an estimated 450,000 lose power. A strong cold front blowing in off the Gulf of Mexico is responsible for the massively destructive storm. Damages across the city are in the millions. It's Saturday night at California's Santa Maria Speedway, where an IMCA non-wing sprint car race is underway. These 850 horsepower machines do not have fenders or bumpers, which makes crashing from hitting an opponent's tire a constant risk. Veteran sprint car racer Danny Sheridan is in second place and facing a stiff challenge. Sheridan makes an aggressive push for the lead.
Here comes Sheridan.
But it's going to cost him.
Smith hard into turn 3. Into Sheridan. Sheridan into the wall. Hit on. A hard hit for Danny Sheridan.
When Sheridan commits to turn 4, he's traveling at over 90 miles per hour. The two cars collide and their tires meet. The impact lifts Sheridan's front end off the ground and forces him into a tumble, dislodging his gas tank and launching him 10 feet high into the safety fence.
Hard hit.
Emergency crews rush to the smoking wreckage. For several intense minutes, the team attempts to extract Sheridan.
And we'll give you a report on his condition just as soon as possible.
Finally, Sheridan is helped from the wreckage.
He's taken to the hospital. Fortunately, he's released with just minor injuries.
His sprint car doesn't fare as well. The $25,000 racer is totaled.
Hard into turn 3. Into Sheridan. Sheridan into the wall.
It's a quiet Sunday afternoon in Hutchinson, Kansas. A clerk in the Dollar General store is on duty when a 67-year-old customer walks in. The woman strolls the aisles, unaware that her leisurely shopping trip is about to turn to chaos. As the customer approaches the checkout counter, a 73-year-old woman in a pickup truck plows into the store, destroying everything in its path. The customer is rammed by metal fixtures. A moment before impact, she sees the oncoming truck, stops in her tracks, and puts up her hands in a defensive position. She's left sitting in the middle of smashed shelving and fallen items. She tries to get up, holding on to the metal fixtures for support. The clerk calls 911, then attends to the customer who's injured and unable to stand. Finally, the police arrive. They take the driver to the back of the store and administer a field sobriety test, which she passes. Meanwhile, EMTs stabilize the customer. They strap her to a backboard and take her to the hospital. She's only slightly injured and makes a full recovery. The driver of the truck is uninjured. She claims the vehicle malfunctioned and accelerated on its own as she was parking.
I'm Ron Pitts, and thanks for watching Destroyed in Seconds.